I'll create my database. Database what? I'll create my database, which I already have. I'll just add employee record to it, employee table to it. So I already have Wemsdac database. I'll create a table, employee table, then the number of columns, just the name and the salary, and maybe the ID. So 3. So ID, the ID will be auto incremented. So length 10. Primary key, auto increment. Then name, vaca 200. Salary, double, maybe 5,3. Yes, 3 decimal places. So save. So I've created employee table. I'm done. Then I'll go back to my model. Which I've already created. So I'll modify the employee. Okay. There's ID is auto incremented, so there's no need, so I won't change anything here. Then I started creating the table model. Let me create the employee handler. So I'll not waste too much time. Where did you do any of the databases? Is it SP? Yeah, sports. I'll just copy the connect class. I'll copy the connect class and come and reuse it. Paste. So I now have the connect here. Then I have to change my parameters. Okay, it's the same database, so nothing changes. Okay, now I have to create the employee model. Once you paste it, it will refactor itself. So new class, employee manager. Employee manager. Then this is what we'll be doing our insert. We'll be doing our what? Insert, addition, editing and what? Deletion and getter. So boolean add employee. So you add employee, update employee, delete employee, get all employees, then maybe get employee. I'll modify it soon. So boolean status is equal to false. Then add employee, I return status. So you update employee, delete employee, you get an employee. I need to get an employee list. So private array list of employee. So employee list or emp list is equal to new employee list. I'll just initialize it straight away. Then I'll create an employee of private employee. Then here I will need a connection. So private connection con private prepared statement ps private result private result set rs. I have to import those guys. Import from java.sql. So I have these three values. Then this connection will come from what? New what? Connect dot get connection. Statement, I yet to type the statement. Then I will need query. So private string, the query string at the moment is empty. So these are the things I need. Now let me finish my method structure. So get all employees. I return an array list of employees. So this one should return emp list. Then get employee 2 should return employee. So return employee. So this is my skeleton of each method. Now I'm coming to give them body. So for the adding of employee, I need an employee. So employee m. Then I'll start query is equal to insert into employee values. Insert into employee. Let me look at it. I named them exactly, so maybe values question mark. These guys I can just hard code them because insert to employees, the ID is auto generated. So name, comma, salary. Insert with employee. Yes. Then I'll just pass these two values to it. So this will insert into employees these values. Let me check my table. So we have the name and the salary. Okay, one is double. Then PS is equal to what? Con dot prepare statement. Then I'll pass the query to it. I'll be asked to surround the try catch, which I will do. Then PS dot set string for the first parameter, the name. So that one will be what? Okay, I can just pass one or pass the name, any of them. One, it should be one rather. One, then employee dot get name. Then PS dot set double. This time setting what? Double, because the salary is double. To m dot get salary. So I'm done. Then I'm just inserting. So I've used this. Then PS dot execute what? Query. So execute query, any of them. Let me see. If it doesn't work, I'll change it. So execute query. Then rs, this one return as integer. So int response then it should be execute update rather. So this is it. This is my addition. I'll do the deletion. Then after that I'll set the what? I'll just check if response is not equal to 0, then change status to true. I come to the update, so I'll start query is equal to update. What's update query? Update employee set query. Update employee set column names. So a column name, which is maybe name is equal to question mark, then salary. For now, let's forget about updates. Let's just add and get all. Let's just add and get all. So I just want us to demonstrate that we are not using it, so it's not changing it. So let's get all. For the get all to query, select star from what? Employee. Select star from employee. That's all. We want to get everything. Then ps dot what? This one I can use normal distance to do. PS is equal to con dot prepare statement query surround with try catch, then rs is equal to ps dot execute query, then while rs dot has next dot next. Whilst there is data, I know this one returns what? It returns an employee record, so I'll have to add it. So I can just do everything on one line, or I'll do it normally. Let me go to the employee. What I have a parameterized, yeah. So I'll just say emplist dot add employee is equal to new employee, then rs dot get string, and that string is what? Name. Then for the salary to get double, rs dot get double. Oh, get double. Then that one to, if I type salary, let me just break it for it to be visible. ID, I made it auto increment, so it will be taken care. Okay, getting it back. Yeah, it's true. No, I'm not getting that one. I didn't create an instance of the ID. I want the ID to be in the database. I just want to demonstrate. We are not filtering anything. I just want to get out, so I use the name and the what? Salary. I didn't use 1, 2, 3, 4. So this should add. Then, so once it loops through, you do it, add it. Then finally, I'll return what? The employee list. So I know this guy returns what? The employee list. Then I'll go to my table model. I'll come to my table model. I need to get the employee list here. So let me just create those things up here. Employee, or I will list of employee emp list is equal to new. Here I can just call it straight away. I can call the what? Employee manager. Let me create the employee manager. Employee manager is equal to new employee manager. Then here, let me check something. Here I come with the data. So this should return it to me. So here I'll just say manager dot what? Get all employees. So this guy's return me and the list of the employees. Then I'll create my column. So private string header or column header. It's an array is equal to. I just need to name and what? Salary. Name and salary. Then get column count. I return what? The column, so call header dot what? Length. Then get row count. The row will depend on what? The return type of what? This employee list. So I just say emp list dot what? Size. Then when I come here, I'll first create an object. Value stored is equal to null. Then I'll create employee is equal to the employee list that you have, the emp list dot get at 0. Let me be sure which is which. This row index and what? Column index. So row index and column index. So I'll pass the row index to it. Row index. Then I'll switch the column index. I'll switch the column index. So I'll switch the column index. Then I'll start. Case 0. Case 0 should return what? Value should equal to employee dot get name. The first column should get the name. I'll just duplicate this guy. Paste. Column 1 should get what? Salary. Get salary. The next one should return the value. So then here, let me check this one too. So column dot get class. Okay. So column header. Next this. The same with this one. Get class. So this is it. This basically should work. So let's do just the basics. Now I've done my backend. So this is the model. I'm now going to create my table and bind it to it. So I just created the employee manager, got all the data from the database, binded them to what? Each row. So for each row, get the data. For each row, get the data, then put in the values. So now I have this my employee table model. Let's come to my employee UI. Employee UI. Okay. Yes. So at first, we need a what? Employee manager. Manager to get all the what? Employee what? Data. So this employee list stores the data from the DB. Then when you come here, we set the what? The column headers. Then this method returns what? The column count. This is self-explanatory. And this also returns the row count. So it returns the number of employees in a row. Then this method does the actual what? Allocation of records in the table. That's that. Then this method publishes the name on each column. So now you are moving to the UI. The UI, we want to do something like this. So we want to have one panel here. We have another panel here. Then we put our components. So I'll create two panels. So J panel. Yeah, I can do that. I can create all those things. Yeah, it's okay. Let me do that. Let's do that one first. Then I'll just create an instance of it. That one is better. So we'll be creating our UIs. I'm creating the panels. So new class. So I'll call this one the main panel and the side panel. So main panel. Then you should extend from what? J panel. Finish. So I'll create all the panels that I need. And that's what I'm doing. Different panel for each class. Then I'll add the component there. Then okay. It depends on what you want to do. All the panels in one class. You can put all of them in one class. But I want to separate them so that you call them separately, then you use them. Then put the components on them. Then side panel. Then I will create panels for these guys. So get all panel. Get or view all panel. Let me add panel for. Then I'll just create two panel. Add and what? View all. So add panel. Add panel. Finish. So now let's build those panels. So for the add panel, I will need the what? Two labels and start. The same with this. So here I'll just create J two labels and what? So name salary, J label LBL name, comma LBL what? Salary. Then I need two what? Test fields. So J test fields TST what? Name TST what? Salary. Then finally I'll add a button. J button btn add. Then within the constructor, which one? Get, no, this is just, we are in the what? Each one represents a panel. So when I click on it to load it panel, when I click to load it panel, when I click to load it panel. So I'll just initialize this component. I'll initialize this component. Then LBL is equal to what? New what? Label. I'll start with what? Name. LBL salary is equal to what? New label salary. Then TST new JTest for, I'll set the size to 20. TST this one also to 20. Then I'll add the component onto the what? The panel. I'll add the component onto the panel. It's left with a button btn new button. Then what? I need you to follow. So then what? I'm expecting a feedback. So add employee. So this is the panel. Then let's add the component onto it. So add, which one first? Label. So LBL name. Add TST name. Add salary. Add TST salary. So this is our panel. The yellow button should come down. So add btn button. When you run it, you won't see anything because it's not on any what frame. So we leave this guy like that. Then this is the add panel. Then view all panel, side panel. Let me build a side panel. The side panel has what? 3 buttons. I'll just label 3 buttons. When you click on the net, to load. So it's added to add and what? View all. So J button btn add, maybe add panel, comma btn view panel. Then what else do we need? Side panel. That's all. That's a side panel. So I'll just initialize this guys. So side panel. Then here btn is equal to what? New, the name, add employee, or just add. Then btn view all employees, view all. So those are, so we need to add this onto the panel. So add, yes, the get all, yes, get all, whatever, get all. So here I'll add what? btn add btn. So we are done with this button. This panel, it's also a panel. It is itself a panel. It's not guaranteed. If you want it that way, I need to set layout. So let me just say new grid layout, and then rows and color. So 1 2 no rows 2 1 2 rows 1 column 1 column. It will pick it by default. So it will arrange this in this order. So this is the side panel. Then the main panel at the moment is empty. At the moment it's empty. We'll be what? Adding stuff to it. Let me just put a test there. J. We are not doing that because of that. We are just adding them to you. It's the same concept. You do the side panel. J test for TST welcome, or it should be label rather. J label LBL welcome. Then main panel. Oh, why come my distance not coming? Then I will initialize it and give it some value. So LBL is equal to new welcome, just welcome. So that's it. Then I have to add it, right? Add. So we are done with what? Our individual components. Now let's put all of them together. So you come to employee UI. Then this is what we do. I'll create instance of all of them. So starting from what? Give me the names. The first one is what? Main panel. Main panel. Then the next one is side panel. Side panel. View all panel. View all panel. Then are you there at all? Which other panel? Oh, that's where we put our table. That one we didn't even finish it. Let's view all panel. At the moment it's empty. So let's put our, this is where we put our J table. So let's finish. J table employee table or TBL employee. Then we need a scroll bar. So J scroll pin rather. Pin. Then table and a pin. That's all for now, right? So view up, there's a constructor. Then I'll just say scroll pin is equal to new. Let me create a table first. So I'll create a TBL is equal to new J table. Then here we'll pass the table model which we've created there. So let me create an instance of the table model here so that we know we are binding it. What's the name of the table model? Employee table model. Let me just call it table model. Then I'll pass the table model to it. Table model. So I just pass the table model to it. Now let me initialize the table model. Table model is equal to new employee table model. So I've added the table model onto the table. Now I'm adding the what? I'm adding the employee table. Then finally I'll add the scroll pin onto the panel. So add scroll pin onto the panel. So this should be my what? View panel. So it contains a table and a scroll pin. I've already modeled the table in my table model. So the headers and everything are there. So this is my side panel, main panel, employee. Okay, this one. So let me go to the UI. I have some utility method. I'll just copy it and use it to swap panels. What is it? So I'll let this one be here. Swap panels. I'll use it in swapping the panels. Now you have two different panels. So when I click on this, I'll swap the panel. So I'll load one panel and remove another panel. So this is how the method works. It takes two panels, the old panel and the what? The new panel. So when it comes, the old panel will remove everything on it. I will set the layout to new flow layout. Then the old panel will add the what? The new panel. Before it what? Validate it and repaint it. Now, before I even go there, huh? Hold on for that. Just know you have something like that. So you have how many panels? Main, side, view, and add. What's in the add panel? Okay, that's the add panel. Please try and follow and contribute. That's when you understand. So I have to create an instance of the add panel too. Add panel. Now in my constructor, employee UI. In my constructor, it's usually advised that this is what I usually do. I'll create another utility method to do my initialization so that my constructor will not have a lot of code. So I'll create some private init. Then in the init, immediately you create it, call it so that you don't forget init. Because sometimes I will do it and I'll forget and I'll be running the code and it will not be working. I've not called the method. So here main panel is equal to what? New main panel. Side panel is equal to new side panel. View is equal to what? New view panel. Add new add panel. So those are my initialization. Then let me put all the things together. So I've initialized them. Now I want to add them. Can just say this dot add. Then I'll add the which one should come first. I've not specified the what? The layout. So I want the sidebar to be on the what? Is it east or west? Side panel. Border, I want to use the border layout. So border dot west. So the side panel will be on the west. Then the main panel in the east or the center. This dot add main panel. Let me just do it and see. Then here, let me set the parameters here. So set size to maybe 600, 500. Set visibility to true. Set default close operation JFrame dot exit on close. Then what else do I need to set? That's all. I've not set the layout. Let me run. Okay, I don't have. So usually when you do what you are doing is incremental development. So you build this. One person usually when at the workplace, one person will not do this. Someone will be doing this, someone will be doing this. So you just call the panel and use them. So I want to create a main class for it. That's what we usually call what? Our test class. But that's the entry point for your application. So I just create a main class for it. Emp main. Then I'll give it public static void main. Finish. Then I'll test it here. So new employee UI. I know I'll get some errors. I know I'll get an because of the database, table models and stuff. Okay, I've not added a driver. So let me add my driver. Right click, build path, configure build path, libraries, add external jars. Okay. Let me run it again. Good. So you have the add and what? Get all. And this is the main panel. So at least you have something. You have something. So when you click on the add, I'll load the add panel. When I click on the get off, I'll load what? This one. So we are now having some rough idea. The get off not loaded it yet. So let me just use the method for the loading. So now I'll come here. So in the main UI, I'm done with this. I don't need the manager again. Side panel. I don't need the table model 2 again. What do I need? Employee UI. So now you've added the components. So this is what we want to do. When I click on the what? This, I want to call this method. So when I make it too modular, the classes will be a lot. So let me do everything here. But it's usually good to have table models for action listeners. But because the buttons are just one, I'll do them once. So the side, I'll go to the side panel. Then in each button, this is what I'll do. The anonymous class, we've not used it yet. So I'll just say, I'll use all the two cases. For the first button, this is what I'll do. btn add panel dot add action listener, new action listener. So this, I just press the control space, enter, and it's new action listener, you terminate it. Then here, when I click on the add panel, I want to what? Load the what? The add panel. I want to load the add panel. So this tells me the swap panel should be here. The swap method that I brought there should be in this class rather. Or I can just cut it. Create a utility class for it. Wherever I want to swap a panel, I'll call it. So I'll create a utility class, new class, util, finish, utility class. Then I'll paste it here. So I'll just be calling this. Let me make it static. Public. Static. So this one will be static. Then, so in the side panel, I want to do what? When I click on the add, I want to swap the panel. So I just say util dot swap panel. Now when I'm swapping the panel, this is what I want to do. Too much. When I click, now I need two panels. The old panel is the main panel. And the new panel. Okay. Sidebar. No, we are at the sidebar. Look at it. Let me run it. Maybe you are not seeing what I'm. Just proceed. You and your virus. Let me comment this guy. Look at it. Now this welcome panel, where is it coming from? The welcome is coming from the main panel. It's coming from the main panel. Now, this sidebar, when I click on this, I want to get the name of this panel and swap it with the one there. But this side panel is in a different class. And this main panel is also in what? A different panel. So, okay, I have to pass. Are you getting the problem? No. These things are different panels. So this is one panel. And we have a big frame with the main panel, which is also a different panel. Now I'm inside this panel. When I click on this, I want to get this panel, which is sitting somewhere. When I create the instance, I can create an instance. All right. It won't see it. I want to capture the one existing. The same, if it were to be the same class, it will not be a problem. So that's what I'll do. I'll just move the side panel in the what? Main panel, so that the work will be easier over there. Because I will use the panel, then I will remove it and add new one. Can use some. Let me try this cookie and see. So I'll create. So that one is the main panel. Main panel is equal to. I just create an instance of it here. It will make the thing too complicated. Any suggestions? It's not too late, but that one I'll just have to copy the codes and send them. That's all. That one there is doable. For the sake, let me just mend the side panel onto the main panel so that we eliminate, not get one, but reduce the complexity. So side panel, then you can create the panel here. So that's how I can get it. Then, okay, this is what I'll do. It's very simple. It's very simple. I'll create the side panel inside this one. Then I'll use it here. Inside the employee UI. Like I will name it like a name panel. I will not separate it. So that I can still use it here. So here, J panel. Side panel. Then I'll just go and say side panel is equal to new J panel. Then I'll set the layout to this. Remove these guys. Then I'll add the btn2. So side panel dot add btn, this side panel dot add btn view panel. So I've done it here myself. So now let me run it and see whether I still have the same state. Okay. So now I'm back here again. So let me do the logic. btn add panel dot add action listener is equal to new action listener. Then I'll call the swap panel. With the method. So I'll just say util dot swap panel. And the old panel is what? The old panel is the what? The main panel. So main panel. And the new panel is the what? The add panel. So I'll do the same for the other one. So I've done for button add, then btn view dot add action listener, new action listener, the same code. Util dot swap main panel, then what? View all panel. So let's try and see. Okay, at least something is working. Are you getting it? At least something is working. So when I click on this, it will load this. When I click on this, it will load this. So let's format it well for it to fit exactly. Is it? It doesn't? Huh? won't go anywhere. They are still there. Anytime you click, call it. If the function has already been called, it won't change anything. So now we've achieved what we want. So let's format. This is the add panel. So the add, where is the add panel? We need to push it down. The side panel, we've killed it. So let's change the layout to what? Let's use what? The grid layout. So set layout, new grid layout. Then what? There are 4 components. So we want to have 2, 2. So 2 by 2. 2 by 2. What's up? 2 by 2. Which one did I add first? I added the label before the test or the test before the label? Okay, the components are more than. Set 2 by 2. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3 by 2. Okay. 3 by 2. So now the name and the what? Salary. Then when I click on the add, I'll add it. So that's it. Now let's test our logic. When I click on this add button, I've not programmed it yet. So I'll come and call the what? The insert into the database behind this one. So the add button is here. Now this time, I could have implemented what? The action listener. Look at the main UI. Here we use anonymous inner class to swap the panels. That's one way. Then the other way is what? At the class level. The class implementing what? The action listener. There's a third way. You can create a local anonymous class. So that's what I'll do. I'll just create action listener. Then here I'll just say action listener is equal to new, the same as the anonymous class. New anonymous class is the same thing. Just I'm naming it and named what? Anonymous class. So I've just named it new action listener. Then I will say now I want to insert into the database. When I insert, I need the word employee manager. So I'll create an instance of the employee manager. Manager is equal to new manager. Then here I need to get the values, right? So here I'll just say I'll create another employee object. Employee at the moment I'll leave it empty. It's just a reference. Then I'll just say employee is equal to new employee. Then here I'll get the values from the what? From the test. So tst what? Name dot what? Get, not name. Tst get test to string. The same with this guy too. Tst what? Salary dot what? Get test. So I've gotten the values from the database. I'm still getting an error. String is undefined. What do I have in employee? Okay, this is double. So this salary is what? Double. So I need to convert it back to what? Double. So how do I do that? Double dot what? Pass double. Or use what? Value of. So I'll wrap the whole of this string into this. Then I'll close it. So there's it. There's the employee. Now I can add this employee into the what? The manager. So I just say manager dot what? Add employee. Then I'll pass this employee to it. I know this returns a boolean, so I'll just check if this. Then I'll just say save successfully. So let me just j option pin dot show message. Saved. Saved. The parent argument. So if you want to call some parent, but you hardly use it. If you want to do something to the parent. So let's try and see whether we can save into the database. At the moment it's empty, so I'll go to the add coffee. Okay, I've not binded it to it. I've not even binded it. So here I've created action, but it's not what registered to what any what component. So now I'll bind it here. Binding or registering the button to action listener. Action listener. So how do I bind? btn what? Dot add what? Action listener. Then instead of saying this, I've already created what? A local copy. So you can see even the name is there. I just choose that one. Now let's run it and see whether we will save into the database. Add coffee 12.5. Save. You are not getting any, or you are not getting any. Which ones? It's not. If it's that's if it's successful. I didn't provide for the else part. So I just say error or failed, but you're not getting anything in what at this part. So what's happening? Let me run it again. Close this one. Add. Have I banded to the wrong action listener? I'm in the add panel, right? This is the button action listener. Or is it because this is below it? I don't think so. Java doesn't work this way. Let me see something. Let me put it up and see. It's working. That's why it has faded. Okay, so saved. So because I brought it below, it wasn't working. So it should come before it. It was not reaching the. It has persisted. So let's. I've been timed out. I have to log in again. So you have what? The name what I just entered. I'll enter another one. Now you should create a method to clear it. I'll create that. Add, saved. We check, browse. That's now here. So we are saving into the database. Let's go to the view and see whether we are getting something from the what? The database. So get all. So it means our getter is not working. Let me run the code. That one is already automatic. It should load. It's loading. Now what is left is that if I add here, there's one method I need to override. When there's a change, it will connect to the database, go and fetch it and come and populate the table. When there's a change, it will connect to the database, go and populate and update the table. Saved. when it comes, it has not updated itself. So you need to write a method for that, and that method is, let me do some small reference. That method is on update view. Let me see. Uh, which item listener? Item listener. We have so many listeners. On click listener, item listener, a lot of them. So you can use any of them. They're all listeners. You just put your code inside it. There's a method, fire table change. So let me see whether this one will work. Fire table change. Okay. Add field. Why? How come the first one was filled? So it's not what? Updating. It's not updating. So, but you've gotten what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to, it's left with perfectionist. So you are saving here, then you are viewing from what? This side. You can extend it and go as far as you want. You can even modify it. When I click on this, I can edit it, set editable to true, false, and all those features.